So that's with altitude. Legs are similar, but they can be tricky. So a leg in a right triangle, the altitude from the right angle to the hypotenuse divides the hypotenuse into two segments. We know that already. The length of each leg of the right triangle, the big right triangle, each leg, is the geometric mean of the length of the hypotenuse, the full length of the hypotenuse, and the segment of the hypotenuse that's adjacent to the leg. What does adjacent mean?
Next to.
Next to, okay? So if I want to set it up kind of like what I did up here for the altitude, what goes in the bottom left and in the top right? What's the geometric mean?
The lengths of the
The leg. It says the length of the leg is the geometric mean. So the leg goes down bottom left, top right. And the other two spots represent the length of the hypotenuse. So the whole length of the hypotenuse and the part of the hypotenuse that's adjacent to the leg. So the adjacent part of the hypotenuse. You can I guess you can treat these as like formulas if you want to, okay? But depending on what you're looking for, you either use the one for altitude or you use the one for the leg. Yes?
Is there like theorems or like triangles with the centroid and like the eccentric too?
Yes.
Are we gonna have to,
We covered those already.
like, are you just similar?
No. We're only concerned about one altitude that's strong.
Okay.
Number 3, does an X represent a leg? So it says that the leg is the geometric mean between the whole hypotenuse and the part that's adjacent. Okay? So they already filled in the leg, didn't they? The 9, does that represent the whole hypotenuse or the part that's adjacent? The part that's adjacent. So then what's going to go on the bottom? 20. Because that's the length of the whole hypotenuse. Okay? These can be interchangeable, okay? Because no matter if I change their position, they'll still, when I cross multiply, they're still going to multiply each other. So what's x times x? X squared. 9 times 20? Take the square root. Break down 180. Give me two numbers. Stop using the calculator. You really need to turn this here. Give me two numbers.
I was about to say that too.
Give me two numbers.
2 times 90.
10 or
2 times 90.
2 times 90, 10 and 18. Let's keep going since I already wrote these down. Break down 10. 2 and 5. Break down 18. Break down 9. 3 and 3. Do I have any pairs? I have a pair of 2s and a pair of 3s. What do I do to each pair?
Take out 1.
Take out 1 and then multiply them. What's left over?
6.
A 5. So x is 6 root 5. Yes?
Why would you say mine?
Because you're looking, this is the square root. So you don't take the actual number to get when you multiply 3 and 3, you take whatever the square root is of that number. So that's why you only take 1. Now this. Over here, find TU. I want you guys to try to set it up and find TU, okay? Try to set it up and solve for TU. Which part of the hypotenuse is right next to the leg you're trying to find? 13. Because TU is the leg I'm looking for. So the part of the hypotenuse, I either have to choose between 13 and 7. Well, 7 is very far away from that leg. It's 13. So you should have set it up as x, bottom left, top right, then 13 over 20, or 20 over 20 there and then 13. X squared equals 260. Simplify it. If you ever get stuck, didn't you have to multiply two numbers to get 260 anyway? What were the two numbers you multiplied? 13 and 20. 13 is already prime. So break down 20. 2 and 10, break down 10. 2 and 5. Don't I have a pair? A pair of 2s. So I'll pull that out. Now I have a 13 and a 5 left over. What do you think I do with 13 and 5?
Leave them.
Multiply.
So it just goes like 65.
So it goes to 65.
So can you just do 5 times 15 and there's and it would be the same thing.
You want to simplify it. So I'll tell you, this will be your option, not 13 times 5. For number 6, XZ. What does XZ represent?
Space.
What, like the part? Is it the adjacent part? Is it the whole thing? What? It's the whole thing. So the whole thing is X, what I'm looking for. What's my leg? 9. So 9 goes here, 9 goes up here. And then what's the part that's adjacent to the leg? 5. So there you go. That's how you would set this one up. If you are looking for the whole hypotenuse, they give you the leg and then the adjacent side. Cross multiply was 9 times 9. And then equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and what does x equal? Like, it doesn't keep going? There you go. Questions? Look at the next one. Am I going to use the altitude formula or the leg formula? The leg. So legs at the bottom and the top. I need the whole hypotenuse and the adjacent part. Fill in my pieces. Do I know my leg? It's 6, so that goes here. 12 is the whole, and is the adjacent part. That's what I'm looking for. Cross multiply 12 and x, 6 and 6. Divide both sides, and x equals 3. Good stuff. Try 9 on your own. And there you go. Are there any questions? All right. Real quick, you guys probably have some space somewhere along the side, maybe even on the front. I want to do one more problem before I tell you what you guys are about to do next. The problems won't always be that simple. They won't always ask you to look for one particular thing. So we're going to do an example where it asks you to look for more than one thing. So I want you to draw this triangle in.
That is you.
That is a Y. And then what's next? All right. So, which variable would you solve for first? X, maybe. Z, the altitude.
Yeah. Z.
Okay. Honestly, you could start anywhere with this because you know both parts of your hypotenuse, and if you know both parts, that means you know the whole thing. What's the whole hypotenuse? 3. So you either find your leg first or find an altitude first, okay? So I want you to decide which one you're going to find first and find it. So again, use those formulas. It's helpful. Cross multiply x and x. 3 and 1. Take the square root. Can you simplify the square root of 3? So there it is. There's x. Cross multiply 1 times 2 equals z times z. Take the square root. Can I simplify this down any? No. So z equals the square root of 2. Over here, cross multiply. What's y times y? 3 times 2. 6. When I take the square root, can I simplify 6?
2 and 3.
Well, it's 2 and 3, but are those any pairs? So then y is just the square root of 6, and then that will be your answer. If it ever gives you where you have to do multiple variables in one problem, break them into pieces. Find the altitude first. Find the whole hypotenuse. Do it in pieces.
It was on the homework.